y'all do respect. But I think that when you look at what people do in this world, you kind of should look at it in totality. People who achieve great things, but are made to do it. Like, made amazingly. Like, fucking lucky. And no, I don't believe that all the people that have been born into the world had a previous life which led them to this life in a kind of not that clandestine destiny or clandestiny. I mentioned the portmanteau of clandestine and destiny, and a friend of mine reminded me that word also means what Peter Griffin calls ghosts. Oh fuck! Who would be good to get to make like not only a classic comedy, which I think they'd all be up for, but like a classic comedy which could bring up a lot of profound shit where we might be still sort of awfully pro-lost. Seth MacFarlane would be great. Tina Fey would be great. I'm trying to think who, 12 Angry Sapiens. I mean, I think Yuval would be great. I mean, I think Sam would be great. Jim Carrey. Who is super fucking, who? Oh. Honestly, fuck it, Mike Judge. Beavis and Butthead, just the vibrations of Beavis in moments, it makes me feel so good. It's so stupid. Mike Judge. Edward Murphy. I'm trying to get, the craziest, the wildest, most diverse 13... people who are obviously, and sometimes at least philosophically comical, and together they could create an act that would seem as if it might come from a comedy-ity, like a comedy-ity, a deity of comedy. I mean, I'm fine. I'll do fine. If I'm the worst, if I'm the least funny of all the 12 Angry, then that's fucking great. Larry David is fucking hilarious. I mean, I don't know how much of that was Larry and how much was Jerry. Tom and Jerry and Larry. Definitely Larry. Definitely Tina Fey. Probably definitely Edward Murphy. I mean, he was born on my dad and my birthday for a reason. Who? I'm trying to think people for sure we would just extend an invitation to. Andy, Sam, MacFarlane, Mike Judge. The one of Key and Peele, I think, who's making all the fucking movies everybody loves. That's Peele. I think it's Peele. I don't know. We're trying to have a crazy range of great comedic perspectives. Women, funny ass fucking women. But we're thinking not just actresses, but we're trying to find people who can write their own words. I mean, if we're actually recording, if Jim Carrey is sitting here, and if James Carrey is here, and Edward Murphy is here, and Christina Fey is here, and Seth MacFarlane is here, and Larry David is here, and Andy's here, and Sam is here. Like, literally Sam and Andy. They're both here. I mean, in that case, Sam might be the least funny motherfucker in the whole room, and with normal people in the world, like, people love God Uncle Sam. And God Uncle Andy. I don't think of myself as, like, God Uncle ALX, but, I mean, in a sense, I could be like, that's what my character could be. I mean, I've done nothing, but, like, if I had to identify with someone, if I had to take a name, maybe it would be like Leonardo Franklin Twain, or... Yeah, that'd be fine. No, Leonardo... No. I'll say Leonardo da Vinci. That's just compressing Leo's name. Leo was an Aries. Sometimes I'm aware I can be very scary. I don't really understand. I can't empathize with why. I've always been like, I think it's possible I've never been, like, I've totally escaped adulteration. I'm 50 years old in 75 days. I never had to adulterate. And I think my parents realized they were kind of extra in some ways in making us, and maybe even a little bit more in making me, times like the variations in your children's fucking genetics and exact chemistry. And I was made capable, like, protected so much and blessed so much and very creative, made to be able to trade in my existence, not to put myself in a dungeon, but to trade in my existence, working hard as fuck, not for money, but towards great good, like towards a world someday when there could be a free and equal peace, like, at least systematically, right? The people of the world, there's networks all over the world, right? There's cables and there's satellites. There's things to connect everyone to everyone. And at some point, the people of the world lobby for one level of those networks for everyone, right? And this one wouldn't even have any power at all, right? Like the worldwide, I mean, Worldwide Web Servers. I don't know. Usually I have an ideopoly. I have a made up, a modified English or Kinglish word, like, all the time. But thinking of, I'm also high as fuck. It's really probably necessary to enlighten my mind. To lighten my mind. Your brain is like a train. Getting high can kind of get rid of all the cars in some ways. And I focus. I just change my focus. You see someone with a great camera is just like, he's got great focus and he's just pointing at one fucking thing. No idea why I started recording. Like, this is probably like the 100,000th video I've recorded. I was hanging out with bruh. Which is I kind of like it. Like, bruh is kind of funny. I mean, my friend Sheba is kind of like she's a she and a bruh, in like a funny way, not like bro, whatever the fuck that means. Words don't mean the same things. Words don't mean the same thing to anyone ever. Like they really can't. You get a gist, right? Like, it's not like disciplinarian, like one person's gonna think of that as a grandfather who like caused his son to give his kid a ton of freedom because he was forced to behave in such perfect accordance with the wishes of the old man. Like, and another person thinks disciplinarian means a duck. But if you really zoom in, the words would almost never be the same. That a person would try to define a word, and once you start to combine a few together, almost all of these words were made up by other people. I think most people probably do make up a word. Like, they probably think of a word that they've never heard. Maybe they write it down. Most people probably think of a word they've never heard, and that word has been thought of and said and written and read, but they never did. So probably everyone makes up a word. I don't think anyone's played my game, and I'm gonna be 50 in like 75 days or something. And despite never having to do anything in my whole life, like, I didn't have to. I still don't have to. I don't know how exactly I would die, and like, if I was just made as some kind of ethereal being, and I could not eat. I couldn't, like, I was such an ascetic, as Darth Vader says. I say ascetic. He says ascetic. I should really stop writing completely and just talk to the microphone. It's fine. It's very fine and genuine. I think, like, after 30 years or some shit of smoking less weed, like, I was probably gonna become like honestly, a body doctor. I probably would have been performing cardiac operations on, you know, y'all do respect, geriatric Americans, a shit ton of whom, like me, instead of eating to live, you know, and sometimes part of the time, ate to live, or live to eat. The other day, I had like half the like half a stick of butter, and I was like taking millimeter thin slices of butter. One of my first inventions was just a device to hold and insulate and measure and slice, like not microscopic, sub-millimeter, like, and today it'd be super easy. Like, butter basically had, like, real normal ass butter probably has, like, if you're slicing a tenth of a millimeter, I don't even know micrometers, I don't know shit. I think probably microns are, wait, is it millimeter, micrometer, micron, or is it, like, I don't know, which is crazy. I haven't really stored information in my brain in, like, a systematic way to satisfy anyone else, and, like, for decades. I sometimes I can't remember the name of Colin Jost's girlfriend, and right now I just don't. It's just not. I know her name, but it's not there, and I don't even want it to be there, and it keeps, like, going straight up back in the holster. I don't know how many. I don't think there are billions of, you know, discrete pieces of information in my brain. Maybe there's billions of bits that cause them to interrelate in such a way as to permit consciousness. But something like consciousness, like, see, are you unconscious when you're sleeping? I mean, I think you're not unconscious when you're sleeping, but, like, when they put you under at the hospital, right? Like, you don't even breathe. Like, you're fucking out, right? One of my favorite new sayings is, like, I think I ask it as a question. I thank God I stopped smoking a couple weeks ago during the storm that killed a bunch of fucking people in Buffalo. You know, a big storm at the end of 2022. Like, most of the people that died in the country died here. It's weird. And then Damar Hamlin, like, you know, might play again. Just a weird fucking... And the funny thing was all the hits that dudes take. And I think, like, if they're going to stop kids from playing football, right, I think what we could say is, listen, if we make the equipment a little bit different, then it might be fine. You know, right? Like, they're already carrying around a little bit of weight, but if we came up with something a little bit more modern, a little more inventive, with a little bit more resistance to slow them down just a bit. Like, maybe they go professional, they wear, like, the really light shit, they sign, you know, they become 18, they sign a waiver, like, okay, I'm willing to cut down from this, you know, this kid sport, this export, this carbon armor, to, like, an old school, barely there, except maybe nuts, shoulders, and head in football. I feel like, I don't know what the rules allow, but I would love, like Allen got a $250 million contract. Allen could make a show. You make a documentary, $1 million documentary about, like, what would it look like if we did two things with him. One, trained the fuck out of him to the point when he could play an entire preseason game with his left arm. Like, it might, the ultimate story with Josh could be, because of how fucking awesome, you know, Mahomes is, because of how awesome Burrow is, like, probably Lawrence, and I forget the guy's name from fucking San Diego all the time. Like, I didn't really watch football for years. I can't, his name is just, like, his name doesn't come up. And Colin Joe's wife, her name is, like, it's in there. I don't, and I this is the one thing I will actually try to remember. It's fucking weird. Like, I don't go back, but it's a memory that, like, so I keep changing something about the memory of the name of Colin Joe's wife. And it's, like, right there. It's fucking nuts. And I think I did really pretty fucking well in school. Like, much more because I was pretty good at memorizing shit. There wasn't, like, a ton of opportunities in school to get good grades from being creative. And I'm still trying to remember her name. It's not Ingrid Bergman. It's not Natasha Leone. The fuck is Colin Joe's wife's name? Crazy, you know, Scarlett Johansson. It's like crazy famous fucking woman. Colin Joe's wife. Can't remember her name. Like, one time I couldn't even remember, like, Samuel L. Jackson. I'm like, I can't remember this dude's name. Like, people confuse him with Lawrence Fishburne. And I think another time I couldn't remember Lawrence Fishburne. Like, Lawrence Fishburne. I think that he's from The Matrix, right? Like, I'm sure if you listen to everything that I ever said, I'm sure that if you listen to everything I ever said and some of the pieces of shit that I've argued with and you didn't know and you just heard all the words, you'd be like, there might be, this might be a few seconds here or there a bit race sus, right? Like, a bit race sus. Like, it's not racist. He doesn't have racistic fibrosis. It's just, obviously, sometimes people can be a little bit awkward dealing with some fucked up shit in the world that they themselves had, like, I mean, essentially nothing to do with, right? They had nothing to do with it. So, on either side, like, nothing to do with it. Well, I mean, on the side of, you know, in just for the sake of argument, assume that every brown person in America, like, which it's not the case, but every brown person in America is considered, you know, affected still by slavery, which is, again, it's not really true, right? But imagine trying to break down and figure out, like, what a crazy project that would be, right? Like, America could do it, right? It'd be like, we'll map everything, and find out who was where and when, right? And then, like, but how would you even, like, how much better would the world be? The world. There's two worlds. How much better would the world be if like white people in America figured out there's a $9 trillion reparations crime still there? I think it's $9 trillion. I think with pain and suffering, you know, the personal injury lawyers who make so much money they can advertise everywhere in your city. 420 trillion, I think. Like, slavery breaks America. I think America won. Like, not the reunited states, but like just the United States. An empire with no founding mothers. Like, it's crazy shit. I'm glad that, you know, what, Dawkins and Hitchens and Harris Troller, like that they put in effort, you know, against God, like against these made up fucking bad deities. Like, we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? We also stand, in a sense, on the ashes, the dust of over 100 billion motherfuckers. Like, and most people, even though, you know, a lot more people have lived lately, you know, for the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, most of that time there were lower numbers of humans, right? So a lot of humans have lived in times that were a little bit better, but I don't like to fucking stop waiting up. Oh fuck, it's only 12:48. That's sweet as fuck. Cut.